Boogie, drop that beat.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Talking Out Loud with Miss Talkative. Everything I say is my own opinion, alleged, and strictly entertainment purposes. Remember, I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe. Comment on the video, let me know what you think. So I finally got around to watching episode 2 of Love and Marriage Detroit. And it left off from prior week where they were in the lavender farm. Kobe had exposed Brandon having a new artist that he hadn't told his wife Christina about. They are in an argument. Christina, she says that, she is pretty much, she's really upset. And Brandon tells Christina that it was only one, because she's like, what all I've been through, she's expressing her feelings to him about what all they have been through, and she's tired of going through it or whatever, and she's not going through it again. He's, basically knocks it down, saying it was only one incident, and he had one foot out the door, and at the time he didn't want to be married, so he pretty much downplays her feelings, and like basically she's overreacting. And he said that he didn't tell Christina about the artist because of her reaction, and he won't be able to network when she is telling him what he can't do and basically her insecurities. So in my opinion, he minimized the incident and downplayed her feelings. And he was like really he did admit that when the incident happened with his prior artist that he was being immature, but also he said that at the time he just really was not in a space to be married. So he finally tells Christina that she was right and that he should have told her, and she agrees to move forward for their anniversary dinner, and they said that they will discuss the incident later. But in his confessional, she says she's not going backwards. They either have to move forward or Brandon is going to get left. Later on, eventually Brandon and Christina, they do speak about the issue with the artist, and Christina, she did give Brandon the go ahead regarding the artist, but she says that it would have been easier had she known. She didn't want to have to learn about it from someone else. Brandon is still blaming Kobe. He feels as though he didn't do anything wrong, even though it's his wife and his artist. He shouldn't have never told Kobe if he didn't want it to get back to his wife, in my opinion. And Christina's asking him, is this, an artist that she needs to get to know, or, what's going on? And he's like, no, basically try to downplay it or whatever. And Brandon tells Christina that Kobe is swagger jacking her ideas. Christina's like, nope, that's my friend, that's my girl, don't do that. And he says, well, remember the idea about your event that you have coming up. And basically Kobe is having the same event. So anyway, Christina's like, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Brandon is like, well, I know she looks up to you as big sis and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, she's not genuine. Moving along to Russell and Kobe. These two are really headstrong, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch them because it's like Kobe is challenging, is always, to me, she's challenging Russell. Russell's going to do what he want to do, and Kobe seems like she's trying to challenge him, and like basically like, you're not gonna, just do anything you want to do on me and stuff like that. Russell asked Kobe what was she thinking about, interfering in Brandon and Christina's marriage, and she said that she didn't feel as though she did anything wrong. She blames Brandon. I agree. It is Brandon's responsibility to make sure that his wife is okay, and it's his responsibility to communicate, all issues, incidents, and everything to her. And he knows what he done in the past. He knows the history, and he knows that his wife is fragile. I do, however, feel as though that she would not be that way if he communicated and gave her a reason to trust him. And because Brandon is still bullshitting and a liar, I feel as though that's why their relationship can't move forward, and she can't really trust him, and that's why she's always calling him and checking in with him, because he wants her to do she wants him to do the same thing, which instead of him reciprocating that and matching the energy of his wife to check in, he is like downplaying it like it's nothing, and like basically she's irritating when she does it because he's always trying to rush her off the phone, and then he's lying. So I really do believe that Brandon is to blame, but I believe that Kobe was not being genuine. And the reason why I say that Kobe was not being genuine, she told, when she was asking Brandon about his new artist, is because although it's Brandon's responsibility, when she was in her confessional, she was saying that, well, my husband feels as though that I shouldn't say anything, and I should have let Brandon just speak on his new artist on his own and get to that topic, but he wouldn't have never done that. So which tells me that you were basically trying to bust him, which you did. And instead of you stopping, and first, let me say, and it's nothing wrong with you hipping your girl, but you bust him on the anniversary. He didn't just get this artist yesterday. He's had this artist for some time. So why you wait till their anniversary dinner to tell him? You could have either told her before. Y'all have texts. You could have text her. You could have called her, said something like, "Did you meet the new artist?" Yes, if it was my girl and her husband was lying to her, whatever, I would have told her. I would have kept her abreast of what's going on. However, I wouldn't have said it at that setting. I would not have brought up anything about their anniversary, because their anniversary, every time they look at that anniversary, they're going to remember that is what happened. And you want to have good memories. And if that's truly your friend, then you could have told her, because I probably would have the next morning or whatever, that night before I went to bed, after my husband told me, I'd have been like, "Girl, did you know your husband had a new artist?" And left it at that, and gave her the information and let her do with it what she will. Yes, I will do that. So I'll give that to Kobe for looking out for her friend, but at the same time, like I said, that was their 11th anniversary, and you ruined it because you opened up your big mouth. And I just feel as though it wasn't genuine. And anyway, Russell's trying to convince Kobe to mind her business, stay out of other people's relationships. She's like, "No, what am I supposed to do? Not ask them any questions? I can't ask them anything about their business or anything like that." So she doesn't feel as though she was wrong. She don't feel as though she should stay out of anybody's business, because that's her girl and stuff like that. She's like, we communicate all the time, and I feel as though that's what he needs to do. Brandon needs to stop lying, communicate, stuff like that. So anyway, Russell tells Kobe that he is, that he want to talk to her about something, and he tells her that he wants to go to divinity school and he wants to be an ordained minister. He's already spoken to her dad and already started making preparations to do that. Kobe is like, wait a minute. You can't do that with, you're not supposed to be doing that without communicating with me and stuff like that. And that's why Russell was saying, we don't need to be involved in other people's business. And I agree, because yes, let your girl know, but then you let her know, but then you step out of it. Because what she's going to do is what she's going to do at the end of the day. You can't force nobody to do anything. And you can't force somebody to live your life the way, their marriage should not go the way you feel as though their marriage should go. It's going to go the way they feel fit. So Kobe is all upset because she didn't know, and two, she said she grew up as a preacher's kid and she did not want to be a first lady. Even though he's already gone ahead and made preparations. And he also tells her that he's thinking about buying a gym to have income for his family while he's in school. She's upset about that, but he's like, well, wait a minute. I'm telling you about it. I'm bringing you into the conversation. And so she's like, no. And, so basically she's blindsided by this information. And he hasn't bought the gym yet, but he's thinking about it. But he is in the process of going to divinity school. So I feel as though that's another reason why she needs to stay out of other people's business, because when you too deep in other people's business, and then you miss things that's going on with your own situation. And hopefully, they can come to some type of resolution, because I can understand it with Kobe saying that she grew up as a PK kid and she don't want to be a first lady, because probably they've already settled into the lives that they have now, by her being an influencer and her, having, what is she, a content creator, I believe. So probably they've settled so much into their lives, and it's like when you become a first lady and he's becoming a minister, that means that you have to change a lot of things. And I can think back to when Megan Good became a first lady. She was out there, she was, her clothes were revealing, and all she did was get criticized. So I can really sympathize with Kobe on this, because it probably won't be easy. She probably know what it will take, and she will have a little bit more experience. But at the same time, because she's been in that life, she knows what, how drastically her life may have to change. I don't know. But if she doesn't want it, I feel as though her husband should have never, he should have considered her before he made preparations to start doing that. And that's not, that's a huge step. And I think that's like basically on the level of Brandon and Christina. Brandon taking on a new artist and, not communicating it to Christina. So I feel as though that Russell is wrong, and it's like, do these men just do what they want to do? Anthony and LaToya, they actually speak about the Brandon and Christina incident as well, where LaToya is saying that it's not Kobe's fault, it is Brandon's fault. And like I say, I agree wholeheartedly, because he should have communicated that. And Anthony is, he pretty much agrees with LaToya that it should have been Anthony. It should have been Brandon telling Christina about the artist. And in his confessional, he explains that he probably, he understands a little bit why Brandon did not communicate that to Christina, because he was probably sharing it a little bit with his friend just to see, get his reaction and see what he thought about it before he shared it with his wife, so he can understand that. And they are preparing for a wine event because Latoya, she has her own wine, and I think it's ambience wine, and they're gearing up for the wine tasting event. She asked Anthony, did he remember to invite the guys? He said, I invited pretty ladies only pretty ladies. And if there aren't any, he was like, I don't want any ugly people there, any ugaboos, or they'll be removed. And I'm like, wait a minute. Anthony, you're not a looker. Now your wife Latoya, she's pretty and everything, and I like Latoya. She's laid back, reserved, and she doesn't seem like she speak out. I mean, she's loud or anything like that. She's very reserved. And Anthony, he seems like he is more outgoing than Latoya. But Anthony seems like he acts more like he's more than what he is to me. And for you to say, and I don't know if he was joking or what, and I'm gonna assume that he was joking about no ugly people invited, but just for him to say that, it pissed me off, because Anthony, you're not a looker, and your wife make you look good, and that's just my opinion. If he was he's with the right woman with the right career that makes him look good. Kind of like a Martell, like on the outside, like looking at Martell now, everybody is like, oh no, Martell couldn't do nothing for me. But Melody made Martell like everything, where everybody wanted him, everybody respected him. And when she left him alone, he's like, okay, outside of Melody, who are you? And that's the feeling I get with Anthony. Outside of Latoya, you really, and I'm not saying that he is a Martell and that he has nothing going on, because from what I understand, he works with Live Nation. But at the same time, you're not the looker, and you're not to me, the brains of the operation. Latoya is, just like Melody was with her and Martell's situation. And Latoya tells Anthony that basically she sympathized with Brandon and Christina, because they have a similar situation going on about communication. He says there's situations their situations are totally different. And he's like, he don't know how she says that, because when he went to Atlanta to live for 8 months, they spoke about it up front, and she agreed to it. But from what I gather, she may have agreed to it, but because she didn't know what was going on while they were in Atlanta, while he was in Atlanta, and even though they talked probably frequent, she probably didn't know the ins and outs of his day to day. And probably when she asked certain questions, the questions probably were vague or didn't get the response that she was looking for. And probably that's what he's missing when she says a similar situation. And also the fact that nothing has come to surface from his, staying in Atlanta for 8 months. So that's probably why she put it on a back burner. But she's probably bringing it up because it's still, she still think about it day to day, because she didn't know. And so she looked at it as a communication issue, because she didn't know exactly what he was actually doing in Atlanta. And that's the part I think he's missing. But hopefully nothing come to surface, and I could be wrong, but that's what I sense. Anyway, Brandon, he's still, like I said, he's still a liar, still a bullshitter. Him their friend Bravo, Russell, and Anthony, they meet up at a club, but Christina doesn't know. You could tell that Brandon is so uncomfortable with being in a club. He's even trying to hide his face from the women because he feels as though that the attire that they have on is too small. Like, okay, it's the club, and you know that basically bottle girls, or I'm not sure if that's what they're called, bottle girls, but that's how they actually well, I'm not going to say that's how they actually dress, but it's different for each club, how they want their women to be dressed and how they present themselves. But anyway, Christina calls, and instead of him just saying, "Okay, I'm at the club. We're meeting for some business. I am. We're speaking about getting a venue for my artist, and we just catching up. It's not, it's nothing to hide." He said, "Oh, we in church." She says, "Oh, y'all must be watching some booty shaking." And they're like, "What?" And so he's like, "No, we in church. Everybody say amen." And I'm like, if she believed that, she is the dumbest person in the world, because doggone well that music don't play in church. But anyway, she's like, "Amen, amen." And so I'm like, what? But anyway, he lies. So when they get to the wine event, well, let me back up. The men, when they were actually in the club, they also discussed putting on a showcase for the new artist. And Brandon is like, we're going to, it's going to be like a showcase, and it's going to be basically a concert for the artists and stuff, so they can get out there and everything. But they're like, "Well, how you gonna do that if you can't even be in the club? Your wife don't let you be in the club or whatever." So basically, to me, he's just gonna lie, because if y'all just made amends with the new artist and then you have to lie about being in the club, Brandon, you really are dumb, and just, I don't know, you a bullshitter to me. But anyway, they're at the wine event, and Anthony, he brings up that they were at the club. He mentioned something about them being in the club the other day, and Christina catches it. She's like, "As Brandon, you were in a club?" And so he's like, in his confessional, here we go again. But again, it's not their fault that you don't know how to be honest with your wife. And they shouldn't have to tiptoe around, what she know, what she don't know, because you are basically a liar. You're a professional liar. So anyway, Christina and Brandon, they get into it. Of course, Christina's highly pissed again because they just spoke about it. She's like, the same club that I said I didn't want him at. Anyway, they are going back and forth, and Christine and Anthony steps in, trying to convince Christina that it's really nothing. They was only there about business. And so Christina's friend steps in and asks Anthony, why is he so vested in their, in their issue. He's like telling her that she needs to stay in the kid's place and stay in her lane. Don't play with him. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you getting so upset? First of all, that's a woman. And she just asked a question. And it was a better way to say what you said than to say it like that. He's, bragging to her, we buying buildings. And, Christina, she's trying to, defend her friend. Like, wait a minute. And he's, telling her to watch her, watch her tone, watch how she's talking to him. And he's telling Christina, you need to you hanging with birds, you need to keep watch the company that you keep. Telling the girl, you sitting with bosses, you need to act like it. I'm like, when listening to Anthony speak to that lady further lets me know that I was not wrong about him so far. Now I could change my mind, but no, um, he is what I said he was. He thinks he's more than what he is, and he didn't have to say all that to that lady. That was not necessary because she just asked him why is he so vested in their issue, and she did. She was sincere when she said it. She was like, I like the atmosphere, I like the wine, it's a good wine, and I know I just met everybody here, but why? And she just asked him a question, and I'm like, and for him to go off on her, you talking to bosses, and Christina, you need to watch the company you keep. You hanging with these birds. Anthony, do you talk to your wife like that? And I'm like, that is so wrong. And I understand that you didn't invite her, but you don't know this lady from anybody. I mean, from, you don't know who this lady is or what she does or anything, and you just calling her a bird. I thought that was highly disrespectful. And for you to mess up your wife's wine tasting event like that, that was even more wrong, because you calling yourself a boss, but you acting like you are like you to help, like you a disgruntled employee. So I'm like, Anthony, you need to check yourself. So like I said, I like Latoya, but Anthony, he just rubbed me the wrong way. And so hopefully Latoya can, well, Anthony can check himself. One of them men at the table should have checked him and said, "Wait a minute, this ain't how you do things." And because it was Christina's friend that Anthony was going off on, I don't know why Brandon. I don't know if she came with someone or not, but I feel as though because she's Christina's friend, Brandon should have stepped up and be like, "Hold on, wait a minute, you don't know her like that." And I don't know if he know her, but possibly, I'm assuming he know her because that's his wife friend. So I feel like he should have been like, wait a minute, hold on. Don't do that. Check yourself. But so far, nobody has. It's to be continued. Hopefully, in the next episode, somebody will check Anthony. So far, I'm still trying to get into it. It wasn't a bad episode. And I know things start off slow and stuff, but yeah, I'm rooting for Brandon and Christina. Hopefully they can move past it. Brandon just needs some help with lying and his communication. It's okay to let your wife know what y'all are doing. Kobe and Russell, Kobe, you try to act like you all that, but y'all have issues as well because your husband does what he want to do and tell you afterwards as well. So your life ain't perfect, so you need to back up off of Christina and Brandon. And Latoya, I feel as though if you have some insecurities about your husband being in Atlanta for 8 months, instead of telling your husband that y'all have a situation similar to Brandon and Christina, I feel as though you should go ahead on and get it on the table. And that's just my opinion. I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Let me know what you think.